Hey guys, this video definitely pertains more to scooters and the RUCKUS specifically, but engine break-ins pretty much the same on all engines. So even though a lot of what I'm saying will be particular to the Honda RUCKUS or a scooter, if you can't find a particular video on how to break in your dirt bike, ATV, snowmobile, motorcycle, you name it, this video will still apply. So I hope you guys enjoy the video and let me know if you have any feedback.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette.
Hey guys, what up? Steve Summit here, bringing you another video. Today we're going to talk about engine break-in on your Honda RUCKUS, scooter, motorcycle, dirt bike, pit bike, whatever you may have that you're wanting to learn a little bit about how to properly break in your engine. Before we jump into that, I just want to say I read you guys' comments. I definitely pay attention, and I know that this type of content where I'm just sitting here lecturing can be a little bit boring and not exactly as engaging as some videos out there. But the content is still there. What I'm saying does still hold true. And I'm definitely working on getting a GoPro. So if you guys would just stick with me for the time being, I'm definitely planning on getting a GoPro. One better than what I have at least. And I want to start doing some more motovlog discussion type videos where it'll be a little bit more engaging for the viewer and also hopefully more fun for myself to film and produce and put out there. But without further ado, let's jump into this engine break-in video. Alright guys, so engine break-in. First of all, what is engine break-in, right? Everybody kind of has their own opinion of it. Maybe you've never heard of it. But it seems like everywhere you look, some people think it's the gospel and think it should be followed to a T. Some people don't follow it at all. Mine's kind of a little spin on it. So basically engine break-in, right? You have your engine, brand new, very low miles. Yeah, this is pertaining to a new engine, not somebody who's bought a used piece of machinery. It's going to be a new or like a rebuilt engine. So you have your piston cylinder, and inside of that is your piston, and your piston has piston rings on it. So that fit is a very tight fit. Those piston rings are designed to help create compression inside your piston cylinder. So why is it important to break it in properly? Well, if you do what is called a hard break-in, where you're just full throttle all the time, what's going to happen is those piston rings are going to be rubbing against the side of your piston wall, and it's going to take away so much metal that long-term issues are going to be blow-by in your cylinder, which will lead to loss of performance and just all kinds of engine issues. On the other hand, if you aren't really ever running full throttle and you're just super easy on your bike, you're not going to take away as much friction as what you would if you were doing the hard break-in process, which you may go, okay, cool, well that's the one I should do then. Not necessarily, because the problem is then when you do kind of want to get out and start romping on your bike's just not going to honestly be used to it. Your piston cylinders aren't going to be broken in to the point to where they could have been, and that also will cause issues. I don't think that's nearly as bad as the blow-by issue, but still in the long run it could cause issues. So what Honda says for the Honda RUCKUS, if you're watching this and you have a Honda RUCKUS, is for the first 60 miles to avoid any type of full throttle type riding. I agree with that to a point. So I'm going to jump in and I'm going to start telling you about my method of breaking in now that I've kind of educated you a little bit on what it actually is. So what I like to do before every ride, but definitely when your bike is brand new, start it up and just let it idle for 5-10 minutes depending on how cold the bike is and how cold the temperature is. Let it get up to a nice running temperature before you ever start riding. That gives your oil time to come up to temp, coolant time to come up to temp, and just kind of gets everything running and circulating the way it should be. Then for the first 50 miles, I like to run anywhere between quarter throttle to 3/4 to 7/8 throttle. What really works for this is if you live in an area where you have the ability to get onto a road where it's maybe 25 to 35 mile per hour and you can just cruise on that for a while. So in the area I live in, there's lots of roads I can get on that are nice and windy and twisty, and the speed limit's 35. So I can ride that at a nice 1/2 to 3/4 throttle pace, and it doesn't really ever bother anybody. Obviously, if you're watching this and you have a dirt bike or an ATV, you don't have a way to track your miles, you don't have a way to get on a road if you're doing it legally and ride. So basically just take it easy for the first few days of riding it, weeks of riding it, depending on how many hours you're putting in. Going back to my method, and this would work for pretty much all scooters and motorcycles. For your first 50 miles, like I said, vary that throttle between 1/2 and 3/4 or 1/4 and 3/4. Every now and then, from a red light or just coming out of a turn, do a couple full throttle blips on it. Nothing crazy, don't get up to the rev limiter and just ping it off the rev limiter, but you know, every now and then for a few seconds, just crank on that throttle and just get that fuel pumping through. That'll help your bike kind of get used to all frames of riding. So once you've done that for the first 50 miles, or like I said, a good amount of time if you're riding off-road and you don't have a way to track your miles, you can start doing more like 3/4 to 7/8 throttle. Maybe on a motorcycle that's a little extreme, but on a scooter, people will know if they ride scooters and they're watching this, that's not really all that much. Like, that's actually pretty normal. I'm almost always at full throttle on my Ruckus. So at that point, you can kind of start having a little bit more freedom on riding kind of how you want to. Maintenance during your engine break-in. Honda says for the Ruckus that you can go 600 miles on your first oil change. I do not follow that. I do not recommend anybody to follow that. That is baloney. So what's going to happen with any engine you're breaking in is as those piston rings are sliding against your cylinder wall, you're going to have metal shavings that's going to come off. That's going to be obvious. It's no different than if you're taking a piece of sandpaper and sanding some wood on it. You're going to have wood dust that's going to collect. So what's going to happen is those metal shavings don't have anywhere to go. They don't just disappear, so they collect in your oil. Obviously, that's not good. Nobody wants just chunks of oil just being bounced around through their engine. So I would say anywhere from 50 to 100 miles, do your first oil change. It's super simple on a Honda Ruckus, at least. I have a how-to video on my channel. I'll put the link to that in the description down below. If you have another piece of machinery, you're watching this for a break-in procedure and you're not sure how to do it, search around YouTube. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll find a nice in-depth video. Or if you're not mechanically inclined and you don't feel comfortable with it, you can always take it to a dealer or just a local mechanic, and I'm sure they would help you out. So first oil change, like I said, between 50 and 100 miles. Then, like I said, ride it freely after that. You can kind of have a little bit more freedom to do what you want. And then I would do my next oil change at 250 miles. Again, same thing applies. You're still going to have a little bit of metal shavings. There's still going to be some slight breaking in that's going to be done, not nearly as much, but there will be a little bit. Oil change done at 250 miles, then follow what your owner's manual says for your particular vehicle. So, for example, the Honda Ruckus, they say your first oil change should be at 600, so I'll push that out and I won't do my next oil change until 600. And then from there on out, I'll follow what their maintenance interval is. So, for example, if you're watching this and you have a CBR 300, do your oil change at 250, and then if Honda says you don't need an oil change till 12, go ahead, push that out to 12, follow it from there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We have holidays coming up. Hope everybody has a good Christmas, happy holidays, Hanukkah, and Happy New Year, whatever you may celebrate or don't celebrate. Hopefully 2021 is a better year for us. I got big things planned. Definitely going to start kind of moving away from the beginner ruckus videos into modding it and making it what I want it to be. If you guys got any comments on this, please drop them down below. I'll get back to you. Like, subscribe. I may have not been an expert at... I probably wasn't an expert at explaining how the break-in procedure as far as what goes on with your engine itself actually works. However, I will say, just for peace of mind, if you are thinking about following this, I am a mechanic. I do work with new engines, brand new engines for Mercedes. So if you are thinking about following this, just follow it at your own warning, but have peace of mind that I do know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch